pack wrappers. Oh, all the pack wrappers. There's more. So, as you can tell, Theros Beyond Death Mass Rip, it's begun. So we enter this. I threw them everywhere. Oh no. I've created chaos. We've started. So I ended up with a pretty decent number of boxes from my TCG player buyout and everything else. I've already started opening the Theros boxes as the weekly videos and stuff, so you'll see more of those. There's some collector boxes I'm going to open as well. Now, I want to go over a bit with numbers here. My fancy board is erased in all of its mighty glory. We can't be having those memes of the Spooderman going up 200 miles an hour overnight, which definitely didn't happen 2 weeks ago when there was a targeted buyout one day of about 30 boxes because there's only 6 sellers left, because that's definitely not intentional. Anyway, so moving on. Now, Theros Beyond Death. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cases that I had. So 7 times 6, Barney math, 36, 42 boxes. I also had 4 loose ones. 2 of them over there from that other case. I think I have more cases. I might have more cases. And there was like 14 or 15 loose ones I've already broken down upstairs. There's going to be more coming, obviously. But that puts us at around, I think my count was like 70 or 73 boxes, something like that. Now, why am I finally opening this set? Well, one, I've been picking up boxes for months, probably closer to a year now. I was buying them for sub $600 a case with discounts and other things like that. I also picked up a bunch on the TCG player buyout. When I did that on the last sale, I spent probably $3,500 to $4,000 picking up boxes from there. So there was a good 30 to 40 boxes. I also picked up a bunch of collector boxes. Now, why is this relevant? You see, I've been buying collector boxes for a while too. So plus the 70-ish draft, I have over a dozen collectors. I think it's like 15 or 16. Now, my Barney logic here. Barney math, Barney brain, power move. My thoughts are, is because collector boxes are about $220, it's about 1.5 booster boxes. So we'll see, insert air quotes, if it's actually 1.5 to 2 booster boxes. Because the price says it's worth 2 booster boxes. So let's see if it is. So we're throwing 15 in there. And if it is worth 2 booster boxes, packs everywhere. If it is worth 2 booster boxes, we will then be about 100 boxes total. Now, my total cost basis for some of these collector boxes is down in the 160s, 140s, because I bought these as part of collections, so there was a large bulk buy, they were discounted, yada, yada, yada. But my cost basis on the collector boxes is, in fact, sub $200. I'm about like 185, I think, is where I'm at with those. And there's 15 of them. I threw the pack wrappers at the start, and that might have been a mistake. So 185 times about 15. Let's see, 1850, 925. So 2750. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Magical. So we have $200,750. Now, I have about 70 draft boxes at about $100 a piece cost. That is $7,000. That puts me at $9,750. Give or take a few dollars. Now, the average rare is about $2.50, $3. Most of this in Shadow Spear and a few other things. There's some decent mythics that are $10, $15, $20. But you're like, well, Richard, the odds of you making money here is terrible. Well, you might be right, but 100 packs, or sorry, not 100 packs, 100 boxes times 3,600 packs, Barney math here, because we're going rares count. It's 3,600 rares. Times $2 is, Barney math, $7,200. Okay. I'm dying. That leaves me a whopping $2,550 to make up in this mass opening. I've not accounted for the 4 mythics a box, though. Now, they're pretty solid. Pretty solid. Now, my collector boxes are skewing my rare count slightly, so I know I'm going to hit 3,600 rares, roughly, because I'm going to have a bunch of foils and some full arts and some other shenanigans are going on here. Now, my mythics, about 4 to 5 a box. My mythics are also terrible EV, but it's okay. 4 to 5 times 100 and boxes is 400 to 500 mythics, which gives me 450 mythics roughly on average at about $4 a mythic average. Ooh, that's $1,800. That leaves me with do a little old school math here for you young kids. 0 to 7. Haha! Look at that! I forgot my old math. I almost failed. Watch me fail at math, guys. It's fine. I definitely don't do math for a living. It's fine. No one knows the truth. So that leaves $750 to make up just selling all the rares, all the mythics. Give or take 10%. I'm fine margining here. What that leaves me with is, let's see, a lot of tokens. About 30, not quite 30, 33, it's not 33,000. Probably 2,700 tokens, give or take, at about 10 cents a piece, plus shipping, plus fees, blah, 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 blah. I make about 25 cents a token. There we go. We've already made up our $750. We're now net neutral on this whole opening. Now, I have all of my commons, all of my uncommons, and all of my foils and full arts to move. Now, as we have learned here on this channel, when I do mass openings, I don't like losing. So when I do a mass opening, I do the math. I'm very calculated about it, and I make sure the math checks out. That's why I do things like this. Now, I do move things on direct, so I have a slightly higher initial cost. So this is a true net EV on these boxes. Now, I am getting 300 plus commons and uncommons per box. At also 10 to 15 cents a piece, that's another $30 to $40 plus a box. There's a few $1 and $2 commons, uncommons in this set. This is a good set to mass open, which means, because again, this is very key when you're calculating this, I'm looking for sets that have a high count of uncommons and commons that are near or over $1. Now, what do I mean by that? I want at least 5 to 10 commons and uncommons that are near or close to $1 or over even, which is fine. I believe this set had 2 or 3 commons and like 4 or 5 uncommons that were within like that $1 range, plus or minus a quarter. Now, why is this important? Well, you see, this is where it gets really important now. You generally don't count the EV of commons and uncommons in sets. However, when it becomes consistent, that's when you need to count it, because that's when you can start making profit when you open these sets. So as we open hundreds of these bad boys, just made a mess. As we open up hundreds of these bad boys and we build this giant pile of bulk, there's a key thing to note. The commons and uncommons in this set are not a massive list, right? There's only, I think, 288 cards in the set. One moment. I have 254. Now you say, Richard, why is that important? Well, it's important because that means your commons and uncommons in a box are repeating. Oh, you should probably noticed here now. If you have 5 to 10 commons and uncommons in a box that are worth or near $1, and they're repeating in a box because you're opening 100 uncommons because you're getting 3 of them in a box, and you're opening up 300 plus commons because you're getting them in a box at a rate of 11 or 8 per box? 15 card pack, 1 for the token, 14, 1 for the foil, or land, sorry, so 13. Your rare, it's going to 12. 3 more, knocks it out, and gives you 9. So 9 commons. I think it's 9 or 8, whatever. Either way. 240 to 300, 270. Ooh, 240? Wait, no, 6 more. 6 times 16, 32, 48. So 288? Yeah, 288 if it's 8, and like 300 something if it's 9. Whatever, I don't care. So, you repeat the commons in the set, which means, statistically speaking, you will get between 2 and 3x of every common and between 1 and 2x of every uncommon on repeat in a box. Opened up over the course of 100 boxes, this will average out per box. This is why it's important to do larger openings. If you open up a singular case, you will see those numbers kind of average out, but you may not high roll. You may high roll or low roll sometimes. You don't want that. What you want is to have this like really nice, steady, flat line of every single common and uncommon, and you only hit that when you start getting into that 50 to 100 box range, because you don't want to open a loose random box, high roll 3 of one uncommon, open another box, get 0 of it, because that can happen. What you want to do is you want to kind of average that out, which is good. And when you do that, all of a sudden, if you're getting between 2 and 3 of each of these almost $1 cards, that's $10 to $20 a box you're adding in literally just commons and uncommons that are fast moving and easy. This is where the EV comes in. Now, we've made this up with just the tokens. We're already in the profit zone. Now I'm looking at, on across 100 box opening, off of just those key commons and uncommons, pocketing between $1,000 and $2,000. And those are quick moving commons and uncommons. Like you move 5 to 10 copies a day. You can move them quickly if you want to, or you can price them a little bit higher, aim for play sets, yada, yada, yada. This is where your money comes in. You're making thousands of dollars off of just the bulk effectively. You begin to see why this becomes a nightmare terror scenario for someone who's opening these, and they're just making money hand over fist. I'm not even talking about the other tens of thousands of commons and uncommons and bulk rares that you get to just sit on and move steadily at 5 to 10 cents a card. This is where this EV turns into a massive plus modifier, right? I am going to spend about... My labor time doesn't count because I don't pay myself, but I will be paying a part-time employee I have to color sort and then alphabetize the set, which will probably cost 15 hours to 20 hours of labor, give or take, for 100 plus boxes. And that will cost me around $300 in labor. Making this up in the tokens again because it's fine. 2,700 tokens times a quarter a piece is over almost $1,000. We're getting close. And there's the foil token modifier and whatever else. So it's probably close to $1,000 in tokens. So basically the tokens wipes out this and most of my labor, which means I have all of this profit margin in here. And all of these commons and uncommons are going to net me between $2,000 and $3,000 plus, which turns my almost $10,000 opening into a $13,000-ish to $14,000 opening. Because again, I'm getting $1,000 to $2,000 just off of those key commons and uncommons. And on top of that, I'm going to get another $2,000 to $3,000 out of the rest of the bulk pretty steadily, which turns this into a plus 40% modifier. Now we factor in the foil values. The foils are the real big kick in the D here, right? So you end up with 7 to 10 foils per box, which gives you 700 to 1,000 plus foils. I'm opening up a fair number of collector boxes with this opening as well, so there will be a fair number of collector box foils as well. So my foils aren't even factored in here. So when I go buy list these foils to Card Kingdom and I sell them on TCG Player at whatever margins I do, because I'm going to test batch this and see how it does, I should be looking at netting an additional $1,000 to $3,000 plus on the foils, which means for my $10,000 investment, I'm netting almost $15,000. It's a 50% ROI on a single opening that I've been steadily buying for a year. And full disclosure, my cost basis is lower than this. I'm just estimating high because I always bump high, not low. If you bump low and then end up on the wrong, if you bump high and then you end up on the wrong side of your costs, that's bad. So if you underestimate what your output will be and you shoot past that, that's what you want. You would rather be over EV than under EV, right? Under EV is bad. You always want to shoot for over. Very important when you're calculating your estimates. It's also, I'm trying to be careful when I step down on things so I don't step on pack wrappers and stick them in my foot like that. God, anyway, so this is why this is so important. When you end up on the plus side of the EV, it's good. When you end up on the wrong side, it's negative. When I go in and do these EV calculations before I start mass buying this set, I look at the math and then I slash it by 20% because I would rather be up $2,000 than break even or down $2,000. And I don't even look at boxes or sets unless I do that. Now, this is important. You must do this if you're going to do a mass opening. You don't just drop $10,000 opening up a bunch of boxes and not do the math. If you don't do the math, you will get cooked. So please do the math before you do the mass openings. Also, as a fun side note, again, still, Modern Horizons 1 is inverted. It's like $250 to $300 a box plus. Please go buy this box. I've been saying it for months. It's still there. I might just go buy more. I don't know. It might happen. Bye.